Hello, everyone who's joining our webinar. Hello. We're just waiting for everyone to join. Are you guys excited for this big 11 application process? Because we are. Okay, so let's get started. Today, we're going to be reviewing some information for your Big 11 application process. I'm sure some of you have already started filling your applications and have some questions. And for that, we have Daniela and Duncan here answering them today. Duncan is a portfolio manager at Startup Chile. Daniela is our process coordinator. And my name is Amparo. I'm the marketing director. So we will be here answering your questions today. They will be doing a small presentation. And after that, we're going to be answering your questions, which you can write on the Q&A section or in the chat. So without further ado, let's get started.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much, Amparo, for that introduction. As Ampi was saying before, we are going to be talking about a little bit more about this Big 11 application process. But first, who are we? What is Startup Chile? What do we do? What was the year that we originated? Maybe you know some of these answers, but we're going to recap some of those as well. We are the first public accelerator in the world. We have more than 24 cases of studies, and many of these ones come from the MIT, Stanford, Harvard, or other universities as well. We originated in 2010. We're allocated here in the Ministry of Economy in Chile. And today, as I was telling you, we're in our birthday, actually. We have 15 years supporting entrepreneurs from all around the world with many different industries from many different possibilities and technologies. So we're very proud to be celebrating this with you guys. So this Big 11 application process is a little bit more interesting as well with this. So what are we looking for when we accelerate this startup with the startup that we are accelerating every year? We are looking for four things. The first of all is that they're tech-based. They must have a technology as the main core of the innovation process that they have. As I was telling you before, they must be innovative, they must be scalable, and we're looking also that they can impact in the economy or in the problem that they're trying to solve here in Chile, around the world. But these are the four main pillars that we are always looking for with the startups that we accelerate here at Startup Chile. We are industry agnostic, so we don't care. Well, we do care, but the idea is that even though if you are maybe a biotech or if you're a med tech or a food tech, for example, we're going to support you either way. The idea is that we have as much entrepreneurs with crazy ideas that they can make a change, that they can make an impact, and the industry will not be a point that we are going to tell you no. The idea is that you can apply anyway. And same goes with nationalities. Today we have more than 98 nationalities in our portfolio. It's like a little bit above half the whole world. So we're very proud of that. The idea is that we can get to more places, get to more corners of the world as well. But we don't care where you come from. The idea is that you can come here and bring your startup as well. As I was telling you as well, we have more than 3,000 startups in our portfolio. This contains more than 6,000 entrepreneurs that we have supported so far. We're very, very proud of all of them, and our network only gets stronger each year. We have different programs. So as you can see, we call them our big programs. And they're conformed by the build, the ignite, and the growth. Each of them has different meanings, different points that we're going to be looking for specifically with you guys and your startups. But the idea is that we can see a little bit more of them right now. The first one is the build programs. Is the one that we're going to be looking for startups that are more in a early stage with an idea to a prototype, and we are supporting you guys with 15 million Chilean pesos or $15,000 approximately. Same is go with Ignite. There you must have a prototype, an MVP, and it's for startups that are looking for this product market fit. And we're going to be supporting you with 30 million Chilean pesos or $31,000 approximately. And last but not least, our growth program for startups that are already consolidated, that they're scaling in sales or in more countries. And we're going to be supporting you with 75 million Chilean pesos or $78,000 approximately. Here in Startup Chile, even though we do not ask you for any equity or any type of a percentage of your sales for any amount of time, we do ask you to put some of the money as well when you're executing these funds. So in the case of the build program, we are going to give you these 15 million Chilean pesos, and we're going to ask you for a 10% with this, like around a 1.7K in USD. Same is go with Ignite, that we're asking you to put the 20%, around 7.5 million Chilean pesos or 7.8K USD. And with growth, we're going with a 50-50. So if we give you around 78K, we ask you that you put as well the same amount of money. So going a little bit further with the build program, as I was telling you, this is the pre-acceleration program it's for early stage startups that we're going to be supporting here with an idea to maybe an early prototype. You could have some of the some sales, for example. But the idea, as I was telling, is that we are supporting these startups in an early stage. It's a 4-month program with a subsidy execution of 4 month as well. We have 2 generations each year. So this year we're supporting startups Big 9 and Big 10. So now with this Big 11, we're going to be for the first semester of next year. And we have an equity-free funding of this 15.5 approximately USD. And we also have the extension possibility, meaning that if you win an extension at the end of the program with our pitch day and everything, and your startup is showing progress, you can go and direct transfer to the Ignite program as well. So you go to the build to the Ignite immediately. Then with the Ignite program, this is our acceleration program. And this, you must have a minimum viable product, this MVP, and be in an early validation stage. So the idea is that you already created your MVP or your prototype and everything, and you already validated it somehow. The idea right now is to achieve product market fit. So go with the specific user, the specific buyer that is going to be with you along the way. So as I was telling you, this program focuses on startups with a functional product to reach product market fit. It is also a 4-month program, but the subsidy execution extends to 6 months. Also, we have 2 generations per year, and we have an equity-free funding of 31K USD approximately. The extension possibility here is not that you go to the growth program, but we are going to give you like around $21,000 as well. And last but not least, the growth program. This one is for startups that are scaling, expansion program for consolidated businesses. So if you want to scale in sales or you want to scale in more countries, or and we're going to talk a little bit about that in the future as well in this presentation. This is the program for you. So this is a 6-month program, but the subsidy execution extends to 8 months. So remember, the build program was 4 and 4. The Ignite program was 4 and 6, and this one is 6-month program, but 8-month execution. We also have 2 generations per year, and the equity-free funding, it's gonna be around 75 million Chilean pesos, $78,000 approximately. So these are some key requirements that you must pay attention to, depending on what of these programs or which of these programs is the best fit for you. So we're going to be reviewing the antiquity requirements in the build program. If you're a natural person or a legal entity, you must have less than 1 year of commercial development to apply to these programs. Or if you're a legal entity, less than 1 year of initiation of activities here in the SII. That goes for startups companies that have already been established here in Chile. In the minimal validation requirement, you must have a validated idea. So maybe only the idea with the napkin is not going to be enough. It's more competitive than that nowadays. So the idea is that you already have a process of validation beforehand. Maybe you do not have the MVP, but you have validated your ideas somehow, and we want to see that. And the mandatory period in Chile is going to be 4 months. And for the IGNITE program, in the antiquity requirements, you must have less than 3 years of commercial development, have at least a minimal viable product, this MVP, and the mandatory period here in Chile is going to be 6 months. In the growth program, it's going to be at least 24-month-old startups, so at least 2 years in this case, from its initiation and activities on the SII. Remember, this is for companies that have already established in Chile. The minimum validation requirement, you must have accumulated sales worth between 2.4 thousand UF, unidades de fomento here in Chile, and 25,000 UF in 12-month cycle. So in the last year, you must have sales between those that range, and it's between approximately $98,000 to $1 million in sales in the last year, in the last 12 months. So you must go and check the value of the UF, but the day that we started the application process, and that was the 5th of this month. And the mandatory period here in Chile is going to be 8 months. And for all of the programs, you must be at least 18 years old. You must hold at least the 10% of your startup in equity. For non-Chilean entrepreneurs, you must apply always as a natural person and be exclusively dedicated to a startup as a full-time job from the beginning of the acceleration program. So maybe you're not right now 100%, but if you get selected by the first day of the acceleration program, you must be only focusing 100% here in the program in Startup Chile, because for us, all the teams and the team members and the team leaders and the co-founders, they are the core of every startup. And now with the female founder factor, please, Daniela, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is the female founder factor. Hello, everyone. And if you're a female team leader or a founder, this one is for you. So pay attention to what we are trying to do with our female founder factor. So first of all, what we know is that, as a fact, students enrolled in STEM degrees in the 2024 are 20% of them, 21% of them are women. Okay, we know this is an historical gap that's been happening, and we are focused in kind of attacking that. So if you can go ahead. We know also as a fact that startups founded by women are better at generating revenue. This is what we know as a study, and actually with our stoppers, actually. So how do we do that, and how do we attack the historical gap? If you want to, we know that women are a key factor in businesses, and that's why we promote female entrepreneurship. That's between all of our programs, as Duncan said before, attacking it in the Build, Ignite, and Growth program. And how do we do that? First of all, if you want to continue, Duncan, please. We do that as throughout the Build, Ignite, and Growth program. Again, please go ahead. First of all, and we know that the co-founding, it's kind of hard to understand, but for our female team leaders, we do that by the Ignite and Growth program. We ask you to kind of present a less amount that a male team leader, okay? As Duncan stated before, for the Ignite program, male team leader will be asked to kind of found the co-founding program as a 20%, as the female team leader will have to present or expand 10% of the co-founding. And for the growth program, it's not a 50%, it's a 40%. So that's kind of the co-founding will be asked for you to present a less amount that as a male team leader. And also, if you can move forward with the presentation, Duncan, please. At least 50% of the selected startups will be led by a female entrepreneurs for the build program. Okay, so if, for example, we have 15 or 16 startups, the 50% of them in the build program will be led by a female entrepreneur. So how do we do this throughout all of the acceleration program? We do it as a whole program for the Female Founder Factor regarding the community, the acceleration program, our talent pool, the ecosystem, and the media. So how can we see that? Is, if you can move forward, thank you. By the community, we provide opportunities for our female founders to network and build relationships. This is throughout special events for them, for the staff, and for some of the female roles that we have, when they can share the experiences and collaborate throughout the whole program. Also, we have, as I said, the talent pool. We believe that the importance of role models. That's why throughout our gender balanced academies, we pass the knowledge and experience from diverse female representatives, because we know that being a female entrepreneur is kind of different, okay? And then for the acceleration program, we match those startups of our portfolio led by women with female mentors. That's very, very important. As I said before, from the perspective of a women in this kind of ecosystem, okay? And as the ecosystem, once a year we hold an event called the Female Circle, in which leaders and female representatives throughout, not only from the ecosystem, but also kind of as a Chile representatives meet to talk about innovation and the whole ecosystem from our perspective. And also in our media, we know that representation matters, and that's why we use our media channels. If you go through our, for example, our website or to our Instagram and all of that, we use those media channels to visualize our strong female entrepreneurs who can inspire our future generations. So then we know that that's focused on the female leaders, but what do we do throughout our whole program as a Startup Chile? First of all, we have, for all of you, we have resources in which that are equity-free funding. As you know, is equity-free, but is co-founding. And we have our free co-work space, which you can use to work with your team members and your with your team, and you can use that throughout the whole acceleration program, and then when you become an good alumni. And also regarding the resources, we have exclusive benefits, which are credits with a third-party platforms. For example, Amazon Web Services. We have a whole bunch of perks for operational direction, business management, and also legal support between, amongst others, resources and benefits. Second of all, we have the acceleration program, in which you will have mentoring activities. You will have peer-to-peer sections, in which we know that's kind of the whole point of having an ecosystem here. The peer-to-peer sessions is one of the most valuable for our sappers. We have academies throughout the whole acceleration program, which may vary if you are selected for the Build, Ignite, or Growth program. We have office hour with experts, with our pool of experts, and we have pitch trainings in which you will be kind of training for our pitch day, in which you, if you are in the Build or Ignite program, can access to more founding and more execution of the program. And then for you to know, we have connections, we have our corporate networks, we have network of investors, we have, as a public institution, we know we have government institutions also in our pool, and the universities. So you want to know more about how is our connections pool, or how much kind of the network we've been having here throughout our 15 years. You can see that in numbers in the next slide, please. Thank you. We have more than 270 voluntary mentors. We have more than 180 corporate and government partners. We have more than 100 worldwide partners, and we have more than 6,000 entrepreneurs for all over the world in our 15 years, of course. And we have more than 160 inventors and VC networks. So then for you foreign entrepreneurs that we know that you are here, we have a soft landing in Chile, in which you will have this is mandatory for all of you. You will have to get a 2 years work visa, which can lead you to work here in Chile, get a salary. You can, for example, start a company here and all of that. You will have a full assistance throughout the process. And not only that, you will have priority in getting this work visa. For example, what can take up to 6 months or so with us, with our sponsorship, will that will be a little and much more faster than that. We have the opportunity here to open a Chilean bank account, in which you will be receiving the subsidy. You will have a number here that's root number here in Chile as we know it, and that can lead you to open a bank account. And you will also have a support from our alumni that's been with this whole process. We know that it is a lot. It's kind of getting in a whole new country that can be difficult, but don't worry, because we have a full assistant throughout us as the staff, and with an alumni that's been through the same process. And then, that we know is very important, we have a community. As I said before, throughout these 15 years, we have more than 6,000 entrepreneurs that lead us with more than 3,000 startups that we've been supporting throughout our history. We have communications of opportunity for our networks of entrepreneurs, of course, events and all of that, and occasions for networking and building relationships. That is here at Startup Chile and throughout our network. So thank you, Duncan. You can now unmute yourself. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
So Duncan,
sorry about that.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you so much, Daniela, for explaining all of those points. And yeah, we had to do a little bit of changing right there with the microphone, but we're back. And you may be wondering why Chile. So we're explaining to you that we have these 5 pillars that we can help with resources, with community, with the work visa, everything. But why are you coming to Chile? Why would you want to come here? And we have many reasons for this. Chile is one of the best countries in the region to do businesses. In 2025, Chile was the 3rd best country in Americas for business competitiveness. And also, it's an excellent lab from this point. Chile is one of the most innovative economies of the region. Just this year, Chile was ranked 1st in the Latin American Caribbean of the Global Innovation Index, and it is 51 place worldwide. Also, we're the leader in Latin America on digital connectivity. We have the fastest, it's one of the fastest countries with the internet of the world. one of the internet in Chile is one of the fastest of the world. Sorry about that, but we're second globally. Actually, that is kind of crazy, but we do have a very, very good connectivity in what fixed internet connections run on fiber optics actually goes. We also have many public policies and a strong ecosystem that is going to be supporting all of the entrepreneurs that are here or that want to come here. So Chile is leading us also the startup ecosystem here in Latin America. Just this year, we entered the world's top 40 of startups ecosystem, and Santiago, where our cowork is located, actually, is leading regionally as well. Multiple global commercial agreements here in Chile with many, many countries. In this case, we have signed more free trade agreements than anyone in the Americas. We have trade agreements with more than 65 markets. So imagine that Chile can be able to open many, many countries as well if you want to expand globally, if you want to expand in the region, if you want to expand to other places. We have special trade tariffs with 88% of the world GDP. We also have double taxation agreements with over 30 economies. That's really important as well if you want to export your businesses or your product to other places. And we do have access to 5 billion consumers. And last but not least, Chile can help you with the soft landing here in Latin America. So if you're not from the region, Chile can be an excellent place, and it offers an ideal getaway to the rest of Latin America. So if you come here, maybe it's going to be easier for you to expand to all of the other countries that are located as well here in the region. So in 2025, just this year, Chile stood out as the most attractive country in Latin America for foreign investment, according to the Global Opportunity Index. And we have some warnings. So everything is very, very, very amazing, but we do have some warnings. Daniela, can you help me with this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you listen to me good? Okay, great. So we have some warnings to avoid any problems here before starting the Startup Chile experience and the Startup Chile program for you as foreign entrepreneurs. So you will have to know a little bit more about some considerations that you will have to have, not before applying, but to know what it takes to be here in the Startup Chile program. So, first of all, you have to remember that for you to apply to a visa process, you will have to do that in the country of permanent residency, okay? So first of all, if you will be applying for that, all of the documents for requesting a 2 years work visa must come from your country of permanent residency, not for another country where you have a temporary residency. We know that you as an entrepreneur may be traveling a lot, maybe having, for example, a period of time in which you are 2 years in a place, 2 years in another, and all of that. But for you to get a Chilean work visa, you will have to prepare all of the papers in the country that you have a permanent residency. Second of all, you will have to have an updated international passport, okay? If you don't have a passport that is updated, we highly recommend for you to start requesting it as for at least 19 months from March of the next year. This is a fundamental document for you to request a work visa here in Chile, and not only for that, but also to make sure of your stay here in Chile. Then you have to get a police record certificate. This document specifically, we know that it takes a long time to have. Okay, so before coming to Chile, you will have to apply for your work visa, and you must request this document. And you will have to get it apostille in the country of your permanent residency. So please, if you right now have any questions about that, make sure to start asking, okay? And this is not for your country of temporary residency. You'll have to get that in the country of permanent residency, or where you have your nationality, if that's better for you or it's better for you to understand. And again, if you're a foreign you are a foreign entrepreneur, you have to remember that you have to apply as a natural person, okay? If you're a foreign entrepreneur and don't have a root number and don't have a company here in Chile, you will have to apply as a natural person with your passport and your number, your ID number for your country of residency. Okay, so alongside with that, we have some other considerations. So Duncan, please, if you can. Okay, then why those are, if you want to, Duncan, I think that I'm duplicating the audio. If you can mute yourself, please. I don't know if you can, or, okay, thank you. So why we have to take care of those situations. Those considerations will help you to avoid issues such as having delays in receiving your work visa, the 2-year work visa, having delays in receiving the funds which are provided by Startup Chile. And those considerations help you to not increase the probability of not being part of the Startup Chile in the future. Okay, you can be selected, you can be granted with the funds, but you won't be having this funding if you are not able to get the 2-year work visa. Okay, so you can be selected, you can all of that, but if you are not able to get here to Chile, you won't be getting the, for example, the acceleration program from Startup Chile. You have to be very mindful of that. So some reminders and some considerations for you to have. First of all, which is very, very highly recommended and important, is to read the terms and conditions. If you do not read them, if you don't know what are those, we are a public policy. We are a public policy program. We have some guidelines. You cannot make some kind of expenses, for example. You won't be able to have kind of some sorts of changes. So you first of all have to read the terms and conditions to know what are you applying for. Second of all, choose your team leader wisely, okay? You won't be able to change it. And please keep this in mind, because lots of things happen. Lots of things can happen from now to a couple months if you get selected. So be very mindful that the team leader can travel to Chile, can stay for the period of time that we ask for. The team leader can get the work visa, for example, and all of that. Choose wisely. Then the project, as I said before, must be executed in Chile, okay? And those must be executed, the project must be executed if you're a Build, Ignite, or Growth program. The timeline might vary, but it has to be, you as a team leader must be here in Chile. Then we have a couple more reminders. Only the team leader can execute the program, that is, being here in Chile, can make the expenses, will have to travel here, can have to get the work visa, and all of that, okay? That is the team leader, not, for example, the company in which you have in another country. The team leader as a natural person. Then the team leader must have 100% dedication to the program. That is to say, for example, cannot be employed by another company, cannot be employed by, I don't know, will not be able to have the time and space to be here in Chile the 100% of the time. And and why is this important? Because we have a couple of instances, we have lots actually of events in which are mandatory for the team leader to be here in person. So you have to be very mindful of that. Again, choose your team leader wisely. and read the application form carefully. Please just answer what we are asking for, okay? So read it very carefully, take your time. We know that we have not a lot of time to answer the application. Hopefully you will have started already and have some questions about that. We will have a webinar after this for that specifically, but read the application carefully.
You didn't see anything. So right now, thank you so much, Daniela, for those key points to keep in mind. Actually, be very mindful of everything that she said, because it's gonna be every point very necessary for your application process. And right now, we want to tell you a little bit more about our success stories. So what are those startups that have made a breakthrough that we have supported here, that we think that they're very interesting for you guys? So we want to start with Bipidice. This is a biotechnology startup that achieved the introduction of anaerobic probiotics bacteria into food products. And by doing this, they can reduce the allergies and chronic diseases by 75%. And right there, you can see Anastasia. She's the CEO, and she also came here to Chile and stayed here and opened a lab. And we're very, very proud of all the progress that she has done so far. Also, one of our sub rock stars is LabRU. There you can see the founder and CEO, Komal Datlani. This is an active startup that democratizes scientific education by giving every student access to a pocket laboratory. So you can see right there that these smartphones, and the idea of this is to be reducing the gap between the education process here in Chile and around the world, and also being able to carry out scientific measurements in real time and helping all of these institutions to are you seeing the presentation? Yeah. Oh, all right. Sorry, I thought it was not visible. So yeah, this is also one of our startups that we're really proud of her as well. The increase in sales that this startup had in the last 3 years is really amazing as well. One of our sub rock stars, and this is one of our unicorns as well. So in our portfolio we have 4 unicorns, one centaur, and 64 ponies. So this is one of our unicorns. This is not the Nut Company, Nutco, and there is the CEO and co-founder, Matthias Muchnik. This is a food tech that, through an artificial intelligence algorithm called Giuseppe, they can create sustainable and accessible plant-based food. So the idea is that all of these products that they produce can be as similar as the original not plant-based product, but without everything that, and it's sustainable, it's accessible, and it's going to be vegan for all of the people that want access to it. We also have Will the World. This is Alvaro Silverstein startup. You can see right there that he's in Machu Picchu, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a platform for travelers with disabilities to find and book accessible travel experiences, places to stay, excursions, and activities, guaranteeing the accurate information and user experience that is 100% accessible. So the idea is that we can reduce as well this gap of places that people with disabilities, physical disabilities, cannot access to. So the idea is that all the great places in the world, like Machu Picchu, for example, can be 100% accessible for everyone. And last but not least, we have another sub rockstar right here. We have Mariano Del Pech. He's the CEO and co-founder of Good Meal. And this is an app that makes possible for you to buy surplus food in perfect condition, but helping from getting wasted. So if you can maybe rescue a bag of food from Dunkin' Donuts, or I don't know, maybe Starbucks, or the supermarket, or any local store that it's gonna be disposing of those foods or those products, you can go there and achieve a surprise bag with a very generous discount. So the idea is that you can be a waste hero and stop with this food to getting wasted. And something to keep in mind are the next steps in your application. So for all of the programs in the Build, the Ignite, the Growth program, this generation 11 of Big 11 in our in Startup Chile. Right now, we are right there at the left in the application process from the 5th of November to the 28th. So be mindful about the hour that the application process closes, because it's going to be referring to the hour here in Chile. And always please do not do it at the last moment. We have seen many cases that have great ideas, but they're not able to fulfill it in time because they're doing it the last minute, adjusting some things. But do it with time, with a gap of time that allows you to make changes if necessary with the proper necessities. Then we are going to be having the results about the mid to end of January of the next year. This is now 2026, so we're closing the year with evaluations and everything. And then in the first month, the idea is to have all of these results by the end of the first month of January. And then the idea is that we can start the program in March. So the exact date it's going to be, in this case, to be confirmed, but the idea is always to start in March with all of these programs, with our kickoffs and everything, with the Build, Ignite, and Growth. So we always invite you to ride the startup wave and join us here in Startup Chile. Join us here in Chile. And if you have any doubts, the idea is that we can now solve all of them with Daniel and the rest of the team.
Thank you so much, Duncan and Danny, for showing us what Startup Chile is like, what tips do they have to follow in order to get into the program, and all of that. So now we would be answering your questions that you have left on the chat and also in the Q&A section. You're a little bit shy, you guys, so take advantage of this session because it's one of the best ways to get some answers, okay? So I will start with the first question, which is, this is Alesh, he or she, they say, may I ask for my idea? I do not have sales yet, but I would like to know if it's possible to apply. So maybe tell us, Duncan, about a startup that doesn't have sales, what programs should they apply to?
For sure. So you don't have sales, but you already have this idea. Maybe just rapidly thinking, maybe the one that's going to be best fitted for you can be the Build program. But remember, it's not a requirement for the Build or the Ignite program to have sales. The only requirement for the Ignite program is that you have an MVP. So you already have this minimal viable product that is already being validated. But if you are still a few steps back regarding that, and you're still validating this idea, or you already moved from the napkin, the idea, write it down, but you have some, I don't know, maybe forms, and you have a validation process that has already been established, and you're moving forward with a prototype, yeah, you can apply to the Build program with no problem. But if you already have this minimal viable product, you cannot apply it to the Ignite program as well. The only one with requirements of sales is going to be the Growth program in this case.
Perfect. Thank you. Danny, you can maybe answer this one. I don't think I understood what they meant when they say the grant is equity free, but you need to put in certain amount of money. So tell us about the co-financial thing.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I know it's hard to understand, but what it basically means is that you will be granted and you will be paid upfront. For example, for the big program, 50 million Chilean pesos, and you will be granted that, but you will have to present for the financial team and all of that, your tracking duo, which you will know then which are them and what are they. But you have to present that the expenses that you've been making throughout the whole program, the execution program, okay? So what it basically means is that you will be granted this 15 million Chilean pesos, and you will have to present that, but moreover, from that 15 million Chilean pesos, you will have to present a part that is from your account or by your means, okay? You will have to present more of the amount that you have been receiving. That's basically it. You will be knowing more about if you get selected. You will be kind of guided on how to present those expenses and how to do it. Okay, but that basically is, we do not take, for example, a percentage of your company to get this co-founding. You will have to present it basically.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Sabrina asked, she has a startup, but she doesn't have an MVP yet. She will start working on it soon, and she will have it by February in 2026. So which program should I apply to, Duncan? And maybe tell us a little bit on how to show the MVP in case they have it. Talk about the MVP section.
Yeah, for sure. So it is a great question as well. So by now, for you to not get inadmissible, maybe the best way that you can go through is going to be the build program as well. So you're still validating, you're still creating this prototype. So the idea of the build program as well is to validate and get to this minimal viable product. And maybe you can use it as well there here in the program to kind of validate it here in Chile if you're not from here. But also important of how you can show this in your application process. You're going to have a section for a video. So if you have, for example, something that's more physical, maybe that you can show it. If you have something that is more of like a software, or you have a kind of a dashboard, or maybe something that is more complicated than that, maybe for a biotech, and you have to explain a complicated process of how maybe you deconstruct enzymes or something like that. You can show it by a presentation, by explaining it, or it's going to be a little bit more free, but the idea is that you can show us as best as possible how your MVP works and what it is actually, so that we can validate that you already went through that process, that your MVP is real. And remember, guys, we don't know your startups. You know them better than anyone. So the idea is that you can show us as we don't know anything. We're going to be reading all of your startups, all of your projects and everything, but do it as easy as possible. Because remember, sometimes maybe you know a specific point of view, or maybe you have a more technical profile regarding that, but try to always be as thorough as possible with this. So you're gonna have a video that can help you with this, that is gonna be mandatory, and you also are gonna have a section where you can explain how your MVP works and what it is. So keep that in mind. And for this instance, if you're gonna have it, I don't know, maybe in 3 more months, 4 more months, 5 more months, always go with but you can go with the build program. You can apply to more than one. But in this case, if you don't have it by the application process, that will be maybe the best way to go through.
Thank you so much. Sergio participated at Ignite 7, in the Ignite 7 generation, and they had to create a company in Chile. They created a company in June 2024. So do you recommend them to apply as a natural person? That's the question. I think you can apply to growth, right? I mean,
but it is the same startup.
If they were in Ignite, I'm sure it was the same company. Sergio, if you can tell us a little bit about that, that'd be great.
I think that case in specific, it's a very specific case in which, we don't know if you're a natural person, Chilean natural person, or you are a foreign entrepreneur. If you created the company and have not started activities in the SII, it actually will depend. But I will recommend for you, in your case specifically, to ask at hello@startupchile.org to kind of state your case, and maybe we can guide you or tell you which are the kind of restrictions that you may have as a, for example, natural person, if you're foreign or not, or if you have the company but have not started your activities here in Chile. It will depend. Okay, so in that case, I will say that it's very, very specific, and you will have, maybe it's better for you to ask at our emails to kind of get a further and better assistance in that.
Cool. Mariana asked about the mandatory period of time that they have to be in Chile. So I'm sure that we covered that during the presentation, but it basically means that you have to be in Chile during the whole program, not only because of the things that you do throughout the program, like academies and mentor sessions and all that kind of stuff, but also in the time that you have to do the what do you call it when the rendition, la rendición, Dani?
The execution
execution, yeah, the execution process. So Alfredo asked, do we need the work visa before applying? Dani, you'll be great answering this. Tell us about the work visa.
Yeah, thank you, Alfredo. No, you don't need the work visa before applying, because we will help you get your work visa. Okay, what do you need before having the work visa is your passport that has to be valid. What you can start doing now is kind of start getting the police record certificate. I don't know in which country you are, Alfredo, because some countries can do this process online, some countries do this process in person. I don't know if you are in the country that you were born or you have a permanent residency somewhere else. But yes, you will have to kind of keep in mind that for the work visa, you will have to issue the documents in the country of permanent residency. So keep that in mind. And you will have to have a valid passport. That is the kind of main things that you will have to keep in mind. But you won't need it before applying the work visa. We will help you get your work visa once you get selected in the program.
Perfect. I'm going to go to the Q&A section because I haven't looked in there yet. So Ka, they say, when applying for the build phase, does it have to be targeted? I mean, does Chile has to be targeted as the primary market? Duncan, how can they do the whole Chilean market thing?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, another great question as well. So for us, it's really important that you can see Chile as a main focus, but it doesn't mean that it has to be the only focus of your startup. The idea is that we want to see you validate here. We want to see you try to achieve product market fit here. We want to see you trying to scale in sales or nationalities from here. So the idea is that during the program, you can use this as a sort of main point throughout the world. But yeah, it is not that you only need to focus here in Chile. It's not that you have to put a pause on every other country. But the idea is that you can explain to us why Chile is so important to your startup. Not only, but like, well, I think Chile is a great country. It has a great economy. Maybe, I don't know, it has beautiful places that you can visit. No, we want to know a little bit more why your solution specifically, or maybe why the problem that you're trying to solve is something real here. Why we want to view in the application process that you sort of do a little bit of research previously of why your startup can make a change, can make an impact here. What is important for you as well to use Chile maybe as a platform, to use Chile maybe as a validation point, as a stage of going through the rest of the market. Maybe there can be many reasons, but the idea is that you can go a little bit deeper in why Chile. The idea is that you understand why is this important for your solution, why is this important for your problem that you're solving, and not only that, maybe you like the country or you visited it many years ago or something like that. The idea is that you can review the whole process of what Chile can bring to your startup and what you can bring back to Chile as well.
Cool, thank you. Talking about the execution process, Danny, Breno asks, how does Corfo follow our activities? Are there reports throughout the program? How does that work?
Yes, great question, because it's very, very important for us. Yes, we have, as I stated before, you will have a tracking duo, which is kind of they will be kind of on the technical and financial part of your project, and they will kind of guide you. They will be monitoring you throughout the whole execution process. Okay, so you'll have to sign a contract with Corfo, and from that on, you will have, it depends on which, if you get granted with the Build, Ignite, or Growth program, you will have months of execution in which Corfo as your tracking tool and your, for example, BizDev, will be measuring you on how you are doing throughout those months. You will have check-ins, you will have monthly meetings, and they will be kind of, as I said before, monitoring you throughout this process. Also, you will have to kind of report your expenses throughout the execution process, okay, throughout the execution program, which can be 4, 6, or 8 months. Okay, it depends on which program you get selected, but yeah, that's basically it. You will get kind of a monthly follow-up on how are you doing regarding the expenses and your, for example, not only your expenses, okay, it will have to be also in the technical part on how are you doing. For example, if you're getting more validation, you're getting more clients and all of that. So you have a whole kind of technical and financial support on that.
Well, also as a follow-up question, Breno also asks how easy it is to get bank funding. I don't know if funding, but we can help you with an account, Danny.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, that question is kind of on both sides. I can answer regarding on how to get a bank account, and funding regarding that. Duncan maybe can ask, for example, how can we help you getting that funding from the banks? But first of all, yes, the funds will be kind of given to you in a Chilean bank account. It cannot be on a, for example, a foreign company. It will not be, those won't be granted on a foreign, for example, bank account or a global bank account. That will not happen. You will have to have a Chilean bank account. Okay, and how to get the funds? It's pretty easy. You will have the contract, you will have the guarantee policy, then you will have a bank account. First of all, you will have to get a Chilean ID, and with that, you will have those 3 parts, and then you will get the funding. That's an upfront payment, and then you will be asked the question before, you will have these monthly reports. And about a bank funding, Duncan can answer that.
Yeah. So it's really important, as Danny was telling you before, to separate the funds from Startup Chile and Corfo in this case, that we're going to be giving to you this equity-free fund from maybe, I don't know, a bank funding, or maybe a credit, or maybe some of the points that we can help you with our corporate connections and the VC network, actually. So in the presentation, we also kind of talk a little bit of what can we offer to you in this case, or what do we have in this case for with the corporates and government partners and the banks and the VC. We have, just as a reminder, more than 180 corporate and government partners, and we have more than 160 investors and VC network in our networks. So the idea is that we can help you with this. If you will need some point that it's not, I'm not finding the word, but If you need to point of connection, we can help you with that. If you need to learn a little bit more, we are going to have some perks and supporting partners that can help you with technical processes to other kind of stuff. But the idea is that if you want to maybe open a round right here, maybe a pre-seed, a seed, or even though maybe a Series A, that's going to be really important for us as well. But that's going to be something along the side of the program. It's not going to be something that we're going to be investing, for example, in this case, but we can help you with that with no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Tarina says, I speak English fluently, but my Spanish is very limited. Could that be a problem? Also, would being a solo founder be an issue for the application? First of all, Duncan, can you tell us a bit about solo founders and their experience through that? And also about the English, the Spanish, the language of the program.
For sure. So the first part of the funding team. So for us, as we told you before in the presentation, for us, the team is one of the key metrics and key points and something that we're always going to be looking for with the startups that we are selecting in our acceleration program. So the idea is that we can get to know why your team is the best in this case for your solution, for your problem, to trying to go from a point A to a point B. And the idea is that we're investing in people in the last point as well. So we want to know what your team is capable of, but it's not that we have a requirement regarding how much founders do you have. We are going to be evaluating the founding team in terms of the capabilities, the capacities that you have. If you have only a technical profile in this case, for example, and you have a very technical startup, but you do not have maybe the curriculum or someone else that is going to be supporting you with the more commercial part or something like that, maybe that can be a little bit more of a disadvantage to you. But if you can explain to us how you can manage both of these worlds, the technical, the commercial side as well, it's not going to be something that is going to be a requirement. It's not that you must have a co-founder to apply for Startup Chile. No, we know many cases of startups that are solo founders and have managed to even go to unicorns. And the idea is that you can explain to us the best way possible why your team, even though if it is a solo founder and you have many employees, or you have a founding team that is very extensive, but you do not have so much employees, or maybe you're in a sweet spot in the middle, why your team is the best for your startup and for Startup Chile in this case. And regarding the language, our program is international, and as you can see, we're speaking to you in English, even though it's not our first language, so it's not going to be a problem. For sure, we always encourage people that come here to Chile to learn Spanish, because you're going to have a barrier somehow in different places, and it's going to be helpful for you to from doing groceries to trying to go with the tracking process here in Startup Chile. But do not worry, because even though we all speak Spanish here as a native language, if you speak in English or in any other language, we're going to have every instance here at the acceleration program in English for you. So don't worry about that.
Thank you, Duncan. Dani, this is a question from Swapna from India. His passport expires around April 2027. Again, this is a question that you should maybe ask to hello@startupchile.org when it's very specific, but I'm going to try to do a question that can help you all. Tell us about the expiration dates on the passports, Dani, because what they are experiencing is that their passport, it doesn't have a 19-month validity because of their country of origin. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. We know that it happens here in Chile also, okay? If you don't get to kind of 30 days prior to the expiry of your passport, you cannot renew it. You can totally apply for the program. It will depend also if you're applying for the Build, Ignite, or Growth program, because for the Growth program, it's longer process and a longer execution period. But in the this it's kind of tricky question because it will depend on what how much time you want to spend here in Chile, because the work visa is for 2 years. But if you are granted for the 2 years and want to stay here in Chile, you will have to get another passport, for example, to kind of elongate that time and request another visa and all of that. It will depend. But we ask for the 19 months of validity of the passport because that will kind of allow you to get the work visa without any inconvenience. Okay, so that's kind of it. From migration side, kind of in that matter, they will ask for 12 months. Okay, so that's kind of on, keep that in mind. They will ask either way, if you are applying for the Build Ignite Growth Program, 12 months. Okay, so that's why we ask for 19 months, because from now on, you'll have kind of that kind of gap of time. So yeah, that's why we encourage to get the, if you are if you are applying for the Startup Chile program, it's better for you to have a longer validity of your passport, for you to not have any troubles by your stay here in Chile.
Cool. This is a very nice question. They say, when applying for the, I mean, no. Are there a specific number of places allocated for foreign startups, or are we competing in the same conditions? That's a great question, and we're actually agnostic to not only industries, but also countries. So we do not see the country when we are evaluating. So the answer is no, there's not allocated spots because it's the same for everyone. Alfredo says, my startup has an MVP and first users, but in order for us to open other country like Chile, we would need to adapt the product to the Chilean data and context. That could take some months. What problems should we apply to, Duncan?
So if you already have an MVP, there's no problem for you to apply to the Ignite program as well. If you are more comfortable with the build, if you are just focused on validation, you can do that as well. And if you have sales that can manage to go through the cohort that we have for the growth program, you can do that. But it's not going to be a problem for you if you have an MVP. We know that if you are a foreign startup, that you must have a validation process over and over to every country that you're going. And if you have one that is requiring data that is specifically to each country, and it's maybe not the easiest one to scale just like that to, and just a plug and play, or we know that. Don't worry about it. We know that you're gonna have a curve that you must scale or you must go through to be able to achieve again product market fit, because every new market, it's like a whole validation process all over again. So don't worry about that. It's not that even though you have an MVP, you can only apply to the Build program if you are, I don't know, a foreign startup. No, you can apply to the Ignite one. And if you do have sales that can manage the points of the growth program, you can do that as well. So don't worry about it. So you can apply to the program that you think that is the most fitted for you. And we are going to be helping you to achieve, again, that product market fit here in Chile.
Perfect. Duncan, also, there's a person who is not who is a non-technical co-founder or founder, and the technical aspect of the startup and the team fell off. So for the Build program, would it be advised to form a team before or during the program? How do we see these cases?
Well, it's not that we have like a perfect formula. Every startup is really different. Every startup is has all the uncertainties and point of view that maybe can be more specific to them. So it's not that you must have someone with a perfect technical curriculum, or maybe with years of experience of commercial validation, in many other companies or stuff like that. But the idea is that you can explain to us again how your team is the one that is going to be achieving all of this, how your team is the best fitted for your startup. So even though you can apply with a great team beforehand, if you get selected, there's nothing stopping you to always be growing your team, always be trying to find that person that can connect with you, that can connect with your problem, that thinks that is something real, and maybe want to invest with you, or maybe wants to be part of your co-founding team as well, or in the C-level, or just if you are trying to get new employments as well. That's one of our goals. Here in Startup Chile, we have created more than 36,000 jobs, for example, and that happened afterwards, the program. So it is not that you must have this team beforehand, but it's always going to be beneficial to you to explain to us what your team is capable, and if you are fulfilling also the technical part and also the commercial part. But yeah, it's not that we have a perfect formula, but the idea is how you can explain to us the reasons of this.
Perfect. When will the recording of this be published? Probably between today and Monday. I'm the person who's doing it, so. Danny, there's an interview process mentioned in the terms and conditions. When will that happen? Maybe we cannot specifically say when will it happen, but maybe tell us a little bit about the interview process, Danny?
Yes, great. So the selection process, it actually takes up lots of stages, in which one of those are the interview process. First of all, we have to see if your startup is really a startup, and it actually, if you can apply to the Startup Chile program. Second of all, we will review your startup as how much it aligns with our program, and if you apply as, for example, to get selected for the build program, if you will be a good build project and all of that. And then we will have the interview process, in which some of the startups that applied for the program will be interviewed by the staff. And you will have to kind of present in a more detailed way yourself, you are a startup, and kind of tell us why you want to be part of our program. And that's kind of it. It will take time. I won't lie to you. It will take time because lots of you will be applying, and it's not an easy process and not a fast process to do, but it will be before the start of the program, which is in March. Okay, it will be by, I won't tell you any date, but you can look all of that information also in our published information. So we won't be telling you right now which will be the exact date, but if you get selected to be part of the interview process, you will know beforehand, okay? You won't be from one day to another. Don't worry about it. You will have time, but yeah.
Okay, good. I have many questions regarding the MVPs, so I'm not going to go through all of the more personal ones, but maybe Dan can explain to us what a good MVP looks like, or what we expect to see in the application.
For sure. So it's also a great question. It's something that we focus a lot in the IGNITE program and also in the growth program. The idea of a great MVP is not always that it has to be the perfect product. It's not your last step of achieving this product that you want to maybe trying to achieve as a goal, something like that. It's not that you have to have everything figured out beforehand. No. And it's going to depend a lot of in the industry, a lot of on the type of solution that you're trying to bring, and also a lot in the user that you have. So The idea of this MVP or this minimal viable product is that it can be all sorts of things. It can be maybe something really manual, but it's going to be explained to the user in a different way. So, for example, just trying to pinpoint something. I don't know, maybe you have a software or maybe you have a dashboard that is going to be presenting, I don't know, information regarding the financial processes and everything of a natural person, of, I don't know, maybe different banks or the expenses that he's going through. And he can manage to see this in a sort of way. And it can be a little bit more rustic or maybe a little bit more advanced. And maybe you in the back end are just doing everything manually, but it's something that is going to be validating a problem. It's something that is going to be validating that someone needs, your solution. It's going to be depending on that. And if you're a biotech, in this case, the MVP is going to be something different. It's going to be much more technical. If you have, I don't know, something regarding a health tech industry, and you also are managing to, I don't know, maybe create a dashboard to manage the HR and the communications or something like that regarding nurses and doctors and everything and all the stuff. Yeah, you can show us what have you achieved so far. It doesn't have to be the last product. It doesn't have to be something perfect. And a lot of founders actually have that mistake. They focus so much on the solution, and we always are trying to tell you that being in love with the problem, not the solution. And I know it's kind of something that you're gonna hear a lot, but in this case, it's gonna be something real. The idea is that you can show us the most basic prototype that you can call something that you can launch, and with that you can pivot to something else. You are going to have many different I don't know, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 versions of your software, of your prototype and everything. There is that is something that can validate that your product and solution is going to be available, and it's something that is needed as well.
Perfect. Duncan, also, can you tell us a little bit about this? They say when applying to the build phase, does a company need to be established to prove the ownership of the company? And also, how much percentage of the company should they have?
It's gonna be depending if you're applying as an entrepreneur person or if you already have a company in this case. And also if you're a foreign entrepreneur. So I'm gonna cover the three the cases, and if I'm missing something, please, Danny, correct me. So if you're a Chilean entrepreneur and you do not have a company, you're gonna be a Chilean natural person. You can apply as that. It doesn't matter anything. There's nothing created so far regarding a company, and you can apply with this as a natural person, and then you can maybe open a company and use it as another point of making the expenses and everything. But if you are a Chilean person and you do have a Chilean company, or maybe you are a foreign entrepreneur but you do have a Chilean company, you must apply with that company. So the idea is that you already go with that. If the company in this case is related to the solution, if you have another company, I don't know, you're selling Max, for example, or something like that, it is not related to. The idea is that if you have a company regarding your startup, you apply with that. But if you're a foreign entrepreneur, in this case, you're always going to be needed to apply as a natural person. The idea is always that you can also understand that if you're applying in growth, you must have this company as well with the 10% and all of them. If you have a company, you must have the 10%. Sorry, I fused a cable right there in my mind. Danny, if you can just help me with that.
Okay, so you hear me? Okay, great. So what is important is, first of all, if you're a foreign entrepreneur, we will start with that, okay? If you're a foreign entrepreneur, you need to have, you will be applying, it will depend if you apply as a Build, Ignite, or Growth, but some of you apply with a company, okay? You, for all of the requirements is that you will have to have a 10% at least of a company, okay? if you apply, for example, with the data of a foreign company, you will be applying as a natural person, but you will have to have a 10% of the company that you will be presenting the data, okay? That company will not be kind of something to us. They will mean something to Corfo, but those data will be from the company of what you are presenting. Okay, you will have to declare this. Okay, so be very mindful of that, because you will have to declare this. You will have to prove it. Okay, and for the Chilean person, if you are a Chilean natural person, don't have a company, you can apply as a natural person. But the requirement if you have a Chilean company, again, you will have to have at least 10% of the actions of that company. Okay, so be very mindful of that. You have to read the terms and conditions to know the exact kind of type of regarding this, but you will have to have the 10% of that company. So I think that was the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to have the 100% of the company. You have to have at least the 10% of the shares or the acciones here in Chile of that company.
Shares. Okay, so we have 8 more minutes. So I'm gonna be wrapping it up. Breno says, I'm not ready to submit in this round of the program. Does it regularly happen every year? Yes, it does. So expect, we have 2 application processes during the year. So expect the next one to be around April or May, something like that. Okay. It's great for you to start practicing with this one if you want to. That's great. Also, does it work as validation if I have letters of interest from companies that plan to use the product? Yes, it does work towards your validation. It always depends on this stage of the startup as well. But for build, we do take those actually. Also, Raba from Algeria, that's great. For the police certificate, we don't have, we have just, well, again, if it's very personal, if it's very different from the rest, you can write us at hello@startupchile.org, so we can resolve your question. Okay. How much money do we need to bring to Chile for living expenses during the program? Rent, food? Dani, that's a great question.
Yes, that's a great question, but it's kind of a tricky question because we, as public representatives, public workers, we cannot give kind of specific recommendations. But what we have is actually a landing body, which is a stopper that went through the landing process and living here in Chile, which will help you kind of giving you the data about what is the housing cost here in Chile, how much it will kind of cost you living here. It will depend also if you come here by yourself, if you come here with, for example, son or daughter, if you come here, it will depend in each case. It will depend on with which part of Santiago will you be staying. It will depend, okay? But what you have to keep in mind to get here in Chile is that the payment of the funding can take up to 3 months, okay? So it's highly recommended, and it's highly, you will have to declare this, is that you have the income and you have the kind of the amount to kind of cost your living here in Chile for at least 3 months, okay? We won't ask for that amount. For example, we won't ask you to prove this, but you will have to declare that you have the sufficient amount to live here in Chile for at least 3 months. We'll have, don't worry about it on how much it is and all of that, because if you get selected, you will be having lots of instances on which some alumni, some subbers, it will kind of guide you on how is living here in Chile and how much it costs and all of that. So keep very mindful that you will have to have at least 3 months of that money. You won't be having the funding at least 3 months, but from that on, you can pay yourself a salary and all of that.
Cool. That question relates to the next one. Sabrina is from France. They would like to know if some French founders have been part of the program. I'm sure they have. We have people from 98 different countries, and France is one of them. She asked if there's some French founders that they can contact. And to that, I'm telling you, once you get into the program, we select a landing body that we call, who's probably going to be from France or at least from Europe, who can help you with that. Okay, so have in mind that will happen in case you get into the program. So again, we have 2 more questions. The first one is, do both founders need to attend the program if they are selected, in case there's 2 founders in the team? Dani, how does it work for does the whole team has to come to Chile? How does it work?
Okay, that's a great question, because it's not necessary for you both founders to be here in Chile, but if you apply with a founder that wants to pay themselves a salary, they will have to go through the visa process, get here to Chile, have an ID, and all of that to get them or to pay them a salary if you apply with a co-founder, okay? If they will be traveling here to Chile and all of that. If yeah, that's really it. If you want them to pay themselves a salary or to pay them a salary regarding the expenses of the program, yes, you both need to be here and kind of go through the visa process, get an Chilean ID card and all of that. But if you are not kind of if you don't know if you both want to be here in Chile, the team leader will have to be chosen very wisely, because the team leader will have to be here in Chile. Yeah.
Perfect. And we have the last question that's also for Dani. Sorry, Duncan. But does the self-funded part coming from us, does it have a specific schedule? Does it have to be paid up front? How do you look into that?
Okay, great. First of all, you will have to declare that in the application form, but then it's not paid upfront, because you won't be paying us. It's, as I stated before when I explained the co-founding, you will have to then present as you are well, as long as you are doing the execution program, you will have to be presenting the expenses, okay? And then you have a deadline in which all of the expenses must be presented, okay? By that time, you will have to be presenting your part, your self-founded part, okay? You won't have to be paying someone else, for example, to Corfo, your part. You will have to be executing regarding the terms and conditions of the Startup Chile program, that's expenses, okay? This the self-founding part, it's not kind of an amount that is you will have to present as I have it in my bank account. Is that something that you will have to present as an expense, okay? And you have to keep that very clear and be very kind of, I know it's hard to understand, but then once you get selected again, you will be kind of guided through that.
Perfect. So that was the last question. Thank you all. I'm glad that you actually asked some things because, as I was telling you, this is a great chance for you to do so. So last thing, in 1 minute, a recommendation for those who are applying, Duncan.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I always ask you guys a recommendation for those who are applying, a little thing. 1 minute.
Yeah, for sure. I think that always my recommendation for these processes is that you take your time. We do have some percentages right there that we're actually looking for the startups that we select, and they take like around a week or maybe more than a week to fulfill the whole application process in the perfect way that they want. So do not leave this for the last minute. Do not leave this for maybe just the last day, or and keep in mind what is the time that we close it. So if you have time, if you are right now maybe already start to fulfill it, look through all of the questions, the requirements, the video as well. And also with the video, that there's another recommendation. Always keep in mind that it must be available for us to see in the next couple of months. So if you're maybe with a an account that is going to be closing, choose another one or something that can best fit your startup. But yes, please take your time. Do not leave for the last second, because when the gap closes, we're not going to be able to view your startup and review it. And we want to see it. We want to see what are you capable of, what is the things that you're being working, what are you trying to bring back to Chile. So please take your time. I think that is the best recommendation that I can give.
That's true. We see hundreds of applications in the last 5 minutes. It's crazy. Uh, so yeah, do it with a little bit of time. Danny, last message for those who are applying.
Yes, not only do it with time, but read carefully. That's a kind of my advice. Read carefully, read what we are looking for, and not only that, what are past webinars, what we have next. But we have webinars on which we will guide you on what are we looking for, what we want, what it's kind of important for us. So yeah, and be very prepared for what's coming. That's what I wanted to say. But yeah, best of luck. Read carefully. Be very mindful on choosing your team leader. That's another advice. And yeah, best of luck. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much to everyone that joined the webinar, and we wish you all the best. Bye-bye. Thank you.